And welcome to another episode of the SuperSub Podcast. Thank you all for joining. This is August 31st, the final day of August. In fact, we still have a couple more days of summer, though. Don't worry, September 21st, as Brian would say, is actually the official end of summer. But for many of us, our summer activities are winding down. So we thank all of you for joining us today on the podcast. It's Brian is laughing. It's hilarious.
It's true. September 21st every
year. I'm funny. So all I have to say is thanks all for joining. This is our SuperSub podcast. We're going to be talking about a lot of things, but please follow us on Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. Full episodes will be on YouTube, uploaded right after the show here today. Please comment, like, subscribe. We really appreciate it. We're just doing this for fun. But we want to hear from you all in the world of calcio, as they say in Italian. So with that, we'll get started. We've got a huge show today, gentlemen. Brian, Chris, how are you both doing?
Excellent. I love your background. Dybala is on fire. And my boy Chiro is not. Chris, how are you
Especially
doing?
not for the Italian national team.
Never.
That's right. Yeah, I'm doing well. And, on the opening remark, from a French perspective, that is true that exactly when August is over, you're winding down and it's about you start to be serious about work again. And September is not typically considered summer, even though technically the solstice is on the 21st. The same thing for winter.
Brian's nothing if not a technical guy.
That's right. Because, in November, it's pretty cold and it snows in some parts. And so you say oh, no, it's just fall. It's not winter.
Yeah. It's science, Chris.
But, with another serious thing, unfortunately, with climate change or global warming, it's still warm and it will be warm, even though in the old days in Paris, September, when it was hot, which happened once every 5 years, it was called the Indian summer. So to corroborate your version of summer or not. So that's why there is pick and choose. But yeah, doing well. Thank you. I'm excited to be here. We had a very amazing week. And Coburn, how are you doing? And what do you have for us today?
I'm doing great. I'm excited to talk about the beautiful game today. Let's get right into it. Here is what I have to discuss with you all. World Cup jerseys. Let's just say this. Puma, I'm just going to call a spade here. Puma's World Cup collection of national team jerseys suck. They suck. It's like, first of all, the Switzerland one is actually the worst one. It's like the name, it's like, hi, my name is. With the space for the number, or it's like you get, as someone said on Twitter, it's like you get stuck, the printer paper stuck in the copier for too long, and that's what you get is these sucky jerseys. What a terrible job this time around from Puma. Do you all feel the same?
Yes, I do, especially because Adidas just came out and put out these absolutely sick jerseys. Every jersey they put out is awesome. And the Puma ones are all a joke. And it's all in the same style with the big box in the middle. I personally like the Italian one. So do you think you'll be getting a Francesco Totti with this new Puma design?
I'm going to be getting a punch here under that little box in the center.
Good news is they're not going to be showing those jerseys off because they didn't make it.
I think Puma jerseys are for jokers only. That's all I have to say. If you buy one of those, if I see one of those on the streets in real life, I will personally make a comment. You have no taste. You're a tasteless, tacky, cheap soccer fan.
Is Ghana's jersey Puma?
Actually, those are the only ones that I like. Okay. Those are great. Those are nice. Then there's also the Moroccan away ones look okay. But otherwise, I would say, hey, it's awful. It's awful. Did they put any effort? Did they know what was coming? It's very clear to me that they knew that their contract was running up and they mailed it in. It was like when you put in your 2 weeks and you pretend that you're about to work for 2 straight weeks to wrap up all your things for your previous job. No way. That's what they did here.
Yeah, I mean, looking at the technicalities, honestly, I know we are assuming, we're suggesting, but honestly, to me, this sounds very clear that this is what happened. I mean, last year they were already pretty guilty on a club level with Dortmund, Manchester City. I think it was
horrible
like away or third. It was like just the same shape. And even Marseille, I believe, was caught in that one. So like they did the home one specific to each club, and then the away and third were like, okay, let's give up. Let's just use a template.
This looks so lazy.
I know, and for country, it's even more stupid because like those countries will be at the World Cup. Some of them might or will face each other. I haven't looked this up, and they will look clearly the same thing. I don't know if the contracts runs out for all those countries, and we know that for Italy it runs out.
Thankfully.
Yeah. But like yeah, for the countries that the contract doesn't run out, honestly, it's like it's very insulting. It's such a disgrace. And honestly, like Puma, like they used to actually be really good at designing and like very streetwear, and they used to be their mark. So honestly, like they are showing that they are pissed, and it's and now with social media, they are actually paying the price for it. Honestly, I do hope this will be the worst jersey selling for them, because they have not made any effort and it's disrespecting countries. So we're talking about most people are very proud of their countries, and football and their national team is very important, and it's almost more important than the religion.
Especially those going to the World Cup.
Yeah, for the first time in like in a really long time, or and then that would be like the first time they can buy a jersey that they went to the World Cup, and they have to wait like 20 years to maybe make it, even though at the next World Cup everyone will make it. So Italy should make it, so you should be fine.
I don't know about that. Let's
maybe
I will
Italy can
that.
go back to the Kappa. Those classic
Kappa are
jerseys.
sick. Kappa stuff are sick.
So but here's the thing though, moving away from Puma, the US men's national team jersey has been a swirling controversy, not only in Chris's Twitter feed, but among Twitter aficionados of the men's national team worldwide.
Particularly in Chris's Twitter feed, though.
Chris
is all over it.
So this is August 31st right now. Chris sent me basically a leaked video of a Nike showroom of these jerseys, and it's still the same bland hockey short sleeve jersey that I've been looking at. Gentlemen, it is not possible that those are the jerseys. Why? First of all, because that's even worse than Puma. Second of all, the U.S. men's national team official Twitter or any of the Nike release outlets have not confirmed or officially had their announcement social media posts of the jerseys. Thus, I remain fixed in the fact that these are not real. They would be, as we would say, fake news.
Chris?
I mean, on this one, unfortunately, I'm gonna have to fold the cards, and honestly, for me, there is too many information corroborating that. Unfortunately, those are the actual ones. Even though, as we spoke about the requirements, where I thought like you needed the logo to be on the left, and you need to be at a specific position by FIFA regulation, and the brand logo on the right side, or vice versa. So I thought there were some requirements I saw, but those might have been because I've never seen, I don't think from so far as I never seen in the middle a logo at the World Cup. At the club level, usually the third jersey or the away jersey has it, even though it's been new because there is no regulation. But for FIFA, I thought there were some requirements. So the white one really looks like a training jersey at best. Even like the training jersey of like Barcelona, which are Nikes, and PSG are honestly have a little bit more afterthought than the US one. But the blue one, the blue tie-dye, even though it's not the best blue tie-dye, and I know you're gonna hate me.
That sucks too.
This one is okay.
No,
okay, I'm with Chris. Yeah, I'm with Chris.
It sucks too. They all suck. I hope those aren't real. That's all I have to say.
I
reserve
I'm
judgment.
with Chris. I think it's coming. There's
Okay,
way
but then
too
I
many
won't.
of these leaks, dude. This is like the eighth one. They're all the same.
I'm
Who's
convinced.
staging these? Who's staging these videos? Where are they getting these?
First of all,
jerseys to put
everybody's
these
leaking
videos
them.
all over the place?
No, not all over the place,
Who's
dude.
the guy?
It's
Is it
just,
you, Chris? Is it you?
it's just a Chris. It's just a Chris. I was looking; these clips are getting like no views. Except for
No,
Chris.
but I'm saying though, who's making those videos, dude? It's the same jersey. That was like a whole showroom. Who's doing that?
Dude, I think it's an elaborate pump. There's no way that
dude.
Nike would sit there and go, "This
I'm with
is the
Chris.
jersey."
I'm with Chris.
No way. I refuse.
Dude, I might not be able to buy it. What am I? That's
Oh, I will.
birthday present.
I actually will invoice Nike for my cut of that jersey if that's the actual jersey.
Yeah, let's
Yeah,
get Jordan on
apparently-
the men's national team jerseys.
Yeah, apparently Yunus Musa confirmed that he wore the jersey, so meaning like they've worn it. And when he was asked a follow-up question about if they were nice or not, he felt like he was super mega embarrassed. He was embarrassed on the level of N'Golo Kante level embarrassing.
He scored a sick goal that didn't count.
That
on
was
Monday,
that was I mean honestly, and that's a different topic, but I'll try to be quick. That goal, like yeah, he's not gonna be able to say I scored the goal for Valencia in that season, but it mostly for like the confidence of the player. If he like is able to trick his mind to be like, look at what I'm capable of doing, and honestly shouldn't have been disallowed and keep that trust level, then that's like awesome. And honestly, it was awesome. Like he even made it to France and be like, who's that Yunus Musa?
Mm.
I
I
said,
didn't
yes,
even,
what,
I
that's a
didn't
big
even,
surprise.
I didn't,
Yeah, Colburn is going
I
to be
didn't watch
out
it.
on La Liga.
I didn't watch
He's
it.
out.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Oh, he scored an unbelievable goal that got ruled out.
I was
very sick.
telling this to Brian. Serie A and the EPL as well as national teams, I'm dialed. But La Liga and Bundesliga, I'm relying on the team here to fill me in. As a result, though, I will not be making wide sweeping claims about those teams and those leagues because I won't have watched them. So I will be sitting back and allowing you to do that. But now I'd like to move on to a league that we did all watch this weekend, which is the English Premier League, which once again delivered some very interesting results. First of all, gentlemen, question: 9-0 Liverpool, Bournemouth. Are Liverpool okay after the Man U defeat and now after this 9-zip beatdown?
It's early. I mean, they're still fine. They're a great team. Harvey Elliott did score a great goal after we were kind of trashing him in the midfield last week. I haven't caught today's game, but they barely won today against Newcastle, and I know that we like Newcastle.
They were down actually 1-0.
They were down. Newcastle had a kind of a okay draw against Wolves. So I don't know. I'm sure they won't challenge for the title if Thiago is not playing like very soon. That's what I will say. So 9-0 against Bournemouth is great. They fired Scott Parker. See you later. Sorry for the start of the year. But I don't know. They seem to. It's not quite clicking, even though the 9 goals they scored against Bournemouth is pretty unbelievable.
Yeah, I didn't like his cardigan, anyways.
Nice.
Yeah, so I think this question, I mean, in all honesty, if you'd ask me before we saw the extra sample, which is the game of today, which I caught, the full 90, I mean the full 98 minutes, I would have told you it's just one game. Bournemouth is clearly the weakest team in Premier League, and I can make a hot take, or well, I mean, I don't know if it's that or hot, that they already fired their coach, which honestly is overreacting. Because like, you know, that's the thing, like in Bundesliga they all play attack, and you know, and that's what we say, it's I'd rather lose once 9-0 than 9 times 1-0 to score points and to not be relegated. But honestly, like in terms of like the players, even though like they went for Marco Sensi, which I really like, but I think he's too small, and I don't think he's gonna make it defensively. And as we saw in Premier League, it's gonna be too robust for him. Even though like he's a sweet player, he's gonna probably move eventually to La Liga, which you won't be able to see. Colburn is gonna thrive at Sevilla at some point, probably. So yeah, I mean, Konate, Matip are not back, and still our best friend Joe Gomez. And
He actually played well, by the way, which is funny. But I didn't watch the Bournemouth game. I didn't watch the Bournemouth game, but you know what's hilarious about this is the commentators, having watched this game, in the 15th minute, having now, Liverpool being up 2-0 already, we're talking about how wonderful Liverpool were playing and how much better they were playing than they played against Man U, as if not to give any thought to the fact that they weren't playing Man U in this game. They were playing Bournemouth. Of course they're playing better. I thought it was a cry shouted through the TV. I mean, well, are you watching who they're playing? Of course, they're moving a lot more fluid in this game. Like, they really struggled against a better team. Of course, what a total ridiculous comment. I thought so. I just wanted to say that. So watching the game, I was like, oh, I knew the score. It was just a ridiculous comment. Here's my take. I don't think they're back. I think they struggled against Newcastle. They did get the win. That was a good win. But the goals were all too sick to be real. Those are like, things are just all going well. Every time you score 9 goals against anyone, it's kind of fluky anyway. That's kind of how I feel about this one. I enjoyed that. I thought they exercised some demons from Man U, but that's it. I don't think fundamentals have changed for them at all.
Yeah, so like, I don't know if you saw, but Klopp came out about like, I know you guys, I told you, our mercato, our transfer window was closed and we don't need a midfield. And I guess
yes.
I was wrong.
They needed
yes.
And,
he listened to us, Chris.
And yeah. And
he's been watching your Instagram stories, Chris.
That's right.
Him and Gio right now.
And he also came out with saying like, but the ones we wanted decided to go to another team. And I'm like, oh my God, like it sounds like you're Liverpool, you're damn Liverpool, and you cannot get like the players you want. Like, are you a Ligue 1 team or something? Like that happens all the time. Like Lyon almost got Malacia and he was like, see you later, I'm going to Man U. And so that's one thing also is like Liverpool, when they're trying to go on cheap. Well, first of all, like when you reach that level, you have to pay the price. Like we saw like Arsenal at the time when they went with the Emirates Stadium and they couldn't buy. And like basically Arsene Wenger, when he was asked like, why you guys like don't spend more than $15 million? And granted that at the time, like the highest transfer was like 30 million, right? It was not like the crazy numbers that we see of like 85 million for Wesley Fofana, even though he's worth it. And the kind of stuff, like you cannot do Arsene Wenger like this. Now you got to spend the money, especially when you are Liverpool. First of all, you have the money. First of all, you do have it. Don't pretend you don't. You do have the money. Even though, yeah, you spend 100 million on Nunez. Yes, that was probably a little bit too much. But you still have money. Like you're not a Ligue 1 team that's trying to scrape down the bottom of the barrel and try to find $1 million. Even Marseille can find $20 million. So you're Liverpool, you can find 50 millions and get the best midfield. Monaco got Mohamed Kamara, and he was awesome, and he would have loved to go to Liverpool. But one thing also that need to be mentioned is that the sporting director that has built this team has went to other horizon, and now it's the new sporting director. And yeah, that's like he wanted to make his mark, and that's why he wanted really Nunez. But then yeah, the midfield is aging, and they need a new boy, as like the Fabinho gets injured a lot. Milner, we love him, but he can't. Like they really need reinforcement, and the transfer market is closing tomorrow at 23:00 CEST time, which is 11 a.m. Pacific time and 2 p.m. East Coast time. So I will be watching those Mercato show tomorrow. This will be exciting. I don't know if I can sleep tonight.
I will say, Chris, you can do the Arsenal, not spend any money. You just won't compete for anything like they did for like 15 years.
Yeah, exactly.
You can finish in 5th or 6th.
in
Or
Premier League,
fourth,
because
like
in other
every year.
league you can scrape by. Like for example, that's the Atalanta model, right? That's the
Ooh,
it-
too close to home for Colburn.
Ilicic, Ilicic left.
or Dortmund to a
He left
certain
again?
level.
Yeah, he's gone.
Because in France, like when they try to copy Dortmund, they call that Dortmund projects. Like Marseille tried to do Dortmund project, Monaco is trying to do Dortmund project. Even though Monaco is great because they're selling really high Bernardo Silva, Mbappe, and Tchouaméni for $100 million, so they're doing great. But they were also same thing. They're like, okay, we don't need a replacement for Tchouaméni. Excuse me, you don't need a player for one of the best midfield of his generation, and he's gonna be maybe on the level of better than Pogba and maybe as good as Kante. Yeah, and they're like, oh no, let's not spend. And then you go against a Netherlands team, and you lost, and bye Champions League and then after you get it, and like you do a good game against PSG, we'll talk about that later.
We will talk about that later. I just want to say, Colburn, for you specifically, that Trent Alexander-Arnold is putting in some tasty balls and an absolutely sick goal in that night.
Yeah, you know what's
That's all I can
hilarious?
say.
It was a sick goal, and if he doesn't have to defend, which they didn't have to do against Bournemouth at all, then he's a boss, of course.
I think England could play like three in the back, and he could just be like the wide midfielder, and
He
I
should
think that would be
be
good.
a wing back,
And
I
he
think
could
he'd
have
be great.
Yeah, or just like an actual like just like right mid. I think you could play Reece James behind him as the defensive steal that he doesn't provide. Play them both. I play them both. I think Reece James is sick.
Anyway, let's move on from Liverpool and talk about Man City. So I have to be honest with you both. Man City is impossibly good. Like they're playing impossibly well. To the point where I have to believe that something like they cannot play this way all year.
I disagree. They will.
Really, all year.
100%.
Well, I mean, I think like there might be, some injuries as well.
Yes.
So it won't matter. That's the whole point. They have two teams to play every week. Nobody can do that. And Pep is crazy too. He's so competitive.
Dude, they haven't won anything though. I mean, this I will say this.
Wait, what do you mean?
Holland,
they win the Premier League like every year.
I know. I mean, in Europe,
they mop the floor with these guys.
I know. We're past
difficult to win Champions League.
Champions League could be a bit fluky. We watched Real Madrid last year. They were kind of whack. I
do think Holland, as Brian would say, I do think he adds an unbelievable dimension. 9 goals in 5 games is absolutely mind-blowing, especially because he doesn't really participate in their buildup.
No.
He is actually
he's there to score. That's it.
He's actually the perfect fit for them because they need someone just to put the ball in the back of the net and take shots, which is sometimes they get too cute. Guardiola does fall into that like too cute phase, and Holland is not like that. He's like, give me the ball. And I think that's perfectly what they need. They are scary in the sense that they just put Nottingham Forest to the sword. They put Crystal Palace after going down 2-0 in classic City fashion, came back all the way and win. I think they're excellent.
The hat trick goal for Holland, when he bodied that center back. Oh, that was ridiculous.
He's so bodied. All of his goals have been like, I'm bigger and better than you. Almost all of them.
Yeah. So Pep, tactically speaking, so Holland, I was supposed to say.
Holland. I'll probably be wrong about this too. Comer's going to give me a bunch of shit later.
There is some French former player that played in the Netherlands, and they say Holland. I'm not good at accent anyways, as we can already hear in English. It's good to have some self-mockery. It's good. Basically, Haaland is capable of playing false 9. He's capable of participating in the build-up, not to the level of the Lewandowski of the world and the Benzema of the world, but we all know that those are the crème de la crème, right? And
Haaland, yes, of course.
As great as he is, he cannot do everything just yet as good as those two greatest of all time as number 9, 9.5, and 10s are. But yes, in the box is lethal, and so Pep told him, like, I just need you to defend, to high press when the team high press defensively when we're out of the ball, and on the ball, just do your runs, your positioning, you're the king of the box. And I'll just make sure that the wingers and the midfield that change their way and you get crosses, because the first few games, like he's very annoyed, to not say pissed off, for not getting the balls like as a through ball or to not getting crosses, because they didn't used to do that. So they need to change. And now like it's finally playing forms and you finally see crosses and all that stuff. So one thing I'll say is that it's Gundogan is the key. As much as, yes, there is Rodri, as much as there is Bernardo Silva, that are amazing players and they are interchangeable. So Gundogan gets injured a lot, and he also gets in and out of the lineup because when he comes back from injury and all stuff. But Gundogan, sorry, is for me with Kevin De Bruyne is very key, because he's the Kevin De Bruyne. So that basically Kevin De Bruyne doesn't get two defenders on him. Then after, Gundogan is on his own, and he has more space, and he can do what Kevin De Bruyne does at a slightly lower level, obviously. But he's like amazing with the passing and the crosses accuracy and all that stuff. And so for me, that's the key. Is Gundogan, as we saw the last time they did a deep run into the final of the Champions League. It was Gundogan. And what did Pep did on the final? Oh, I need to not play with a number 6, no Gundogan. How did that work? Not very well.
I would agree with you. He is key. He also has been excellent.
Dude, it's always the midfielders, dude. Always.
There it is again.
Every time. So simple, dude. This would be, I don't know how much they paid for Gundogan whenever they got him, but this would be like a move that, I don't know, like a Man United would never make. They would never go get a Gundogan, and that's why they stink.
No, they're getting Anthony. What a total waste of time.
Yeah, that's
they
true. They
did
don't
look
have
decent
Jadon
against
Sancho in their squad, right?
Yeah, exactly. I know. Another winger. It's crazy to me.
Well,
Completely
I would
crazy.
say, as Brian says, bad organizations make bad decisions. This is another example.
That's right.
So here's the thing, Brian. Are they going to continue this tear?
Yeah, 100%. 100%. The whole line addition is a cheat code for them. Like, as much as we've liked Gabriel Jesus over at Arsenal, and it's been a really nice fit, he wouldn't have 9 goals in this team.
It feels that they're flying impossibly high, is what I would say. 9 goals in 5 games.
They've already dropped points. They're not even top of the league, man.
I don't know. Do you
don't start their season very well? That's normal for them. But now they're launched Haaland is scoring hat-trick for hat-trick. The first goal is a football where like he has a very narrow angle and he's like doing half volley and near post and like in the top bin. It's just like
this dude is dunking on people.
Like again, exactly. Like,
stop.
The expected goals must be 0.001, and he scores that and makes it look easy.
Also, he's like 21 still, isn't he?
Yeah, he looks like a total G.
Just like Mbappe, they are the same age.
Yeah, unbelievable. I think, he's going to be key for them. I think that steal up top is going to give a lot of these Champions League like high level teams issues. Like there's no like the days of like the Chiellinis and like defenders like that. I feel like it's kind of gone. Like he's going to go up against our PSG boys, Marquinhos. He's going to destroy him. Or Kimpembe, either one. Yeah, well, they'll need 5 in the back, but like those kind of Ramos can maybe he's old though. But like those kind of defenders are going away
at the neck level, and don't worry, it'll be he'll have to come out at the 28th minute.
But like, even in going against Real Madrid, like Militao will dominate Militao too. Like I feel like.
No, don't worry, they have Rudiger also is the next Ramos tackle at
maybe
base level.
I don't know. I just think I guess Bayern Munich could be a team that could maybe slow him down, but I think that this run he's going to be dunking on these English center backs all season long.
No, Maguire will stop it
from the bench.
Let's move on to another game. Actually, I have a great story for our listeners today. So Brian calls me on Saturday morning and he goes, dude, you gotta check out Arsenal. The commentator, these guys are flying. They're so sick. The commentator described their play as delicious. When was the last time you heard a commentator describe their play as delicious? So I think to myself,
Champagne
something.
football.
Yeah, champagne football. I think to myself, it's weird. I haven't heard about that in Arsenal in a while. I wonder how many goals they're up against Fulham. Brian is raving about these guys. I flick on the game. It's 0-0. 0-0 in the first half. Brian spent 10 minutes ogling over Arsenal team that didn't put in any goals at the time. So, thankfully to save your bacon, they actually came back from down 1-0 to win. But Arsenal, to me, does look better than they normally have in seasons past. I'll give you that. I like how they're playing.
What a take that is.
Yeah, but do I think this is a fundamentally different like title contending or like extra plus level Arsenal team? I haven't seen it.
Okay. Yeah, they're probably not talented enough to compete with Man City. That's fair.
Too young.
Too young. Yeah, that's fine. But they look nice. They play like the last, I don't know, pretty much since I got into soccer, the last club football in the last decade, they were coming out of being consistently good, and then they became borderline unwatchable. They so mediocre and average, and they never showed up. They would lose every single game to the top 5 or whatever, every game. And now, I mean, I would expect them to, with how Liverpool is, they should compete with Liverpool. They'll definitely compete with Man United. I think that they would beat them. They'd probably beat Chelsea. I mean, this looks like a legitimate, they should be fighting for second or third, I think.
Second, I mean, I think Liverpool, even though they dropped 2 levels, I think Liverpool still makes it on the regularity to number 2. But then
better than Chelsea?
No, yeah, Chelsea.
Have you been watching Chelsea? Chelsea's a disaster.
Yeah, but it's a long season. I think Chelsea is superior in every way.
No, they have Tuchel. They have Tuchel.
We don't like him. He's gone from Paris.
Is that because he doesn't play Pulisic or what?
Yeah, he doesn't. I don't understand. Although he doesn't look good when he's come in, but Chelsea looks terrible. Mason Mount, Kai Havertz, not good.
I mean, N'Golo Kante is not in the lineup, and they look like shit.
They look horrible.
Excuse my French. I forgot what it's show. Sorry, it really came out. No, Tuchel is a good tactician, but he's a bit too crazy. And I think first of all, as a German, I said that last time, you have so much high blood, red hot blood, and I mean, he's transferring all this stress and anxiety to his players. They're all scared, and Raheem Sterling doesn't need that. He does that on his own, not finding the back of the net.
Scoring a lot though.
But yeah, scoring 2 goals in the games that doesn't matter. But when you need to score with that 1 goal, not to lose this afternoon, where was he? Nowhere to be found. I mean, the first goal was
same
nice,
story,
but he missed one that it was a tap in, but that's a different story. Back to Arsenal, please. Good goalkeeper, great coach. He's starting to have a bench. Fabio Vieira from Porto that hasn't played just yet is amazing, and I can't wait to see him. Xhaka, even though I've been liking, he can get crazy and get a red card.
He's total wild card.
Yeah,
no pun intended.
He can throw the season on his own, just on 1 game, and then after do a losing streak of 3 games just because of his action. And also I wasn't on the choo-choo train for Bukayo Saka, and even though Bukayo Saka hasn't been scoring, he makes so many differences, dribbling, and his cross today to Martinelli was pretty sick. So that's the funny thing. Martinelli has been scoring, but the one that's given me the best impression has actually been Bukayo Saka making key passes and dribbling past defender.
I've actually enjoyed Odegaard the most. I think he's playing very well.
Yeah, he's playing
Took the words out
simple.
of my mouth.
He's playing simple, but like
He's making a lot
playmaking.
of plays in the midfield, which is great,
Yeah.
especially moving forward.
In the midfield.
That's right. You need
Are they a Champions League winning midfield? Are they a Premier
No,
League
no, no,
top
no.
three winning midfield? Maybe.
too young. I mean, top three, yes.
Yeah, they won't compete for the title. There's no way. Man City, when they do finally play them, whenever that game is, they will still mop the floor with them. But they're trending. They're trending in the right direction. I'm buying into the hype.
You know who's actually not trending in the right direction is Everton again. These guys haven't won a game again this year. Oh,
Deli Alley on the way to Turkey. See you later.
oh my God, that might actually improve. That's addition by subtraction, unfortunately.
Win less, but also lost less.
Yes. Everton stinks. I don't know. I saw some stat in the last, I don't know if it was the last decade or 5 years, whatever it is. Everton spent like the 8th most money of like any club in the world. I think it's comedy. These guys have no decent. They don't even have this Anthony Gordon kid. He looks okay. But this is to me like typical like English bias. Is he actually that good? Probably not. No, he wouldn't get. I'm sure he's not even discussed in France, Spain, Italy. They're like Anthony Gordon. Who the hell is that?
I know.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, they're lousy. I don't know. I don't really have much to say other than they just continue to be lousy. They spend a ton of money on, and they have nothing to show for it. Alex Iwobi plays for them all the time. He's so mediocre. I like to bash on players, but yeah, that's it. Everton stinks.
All right, let's move on to the English Premier League, gentlemen. Let's talk about Serie A. Finally, we can talk about something that I want to talk about, which is the guy right behind me, Paulo Dybala. First of all, they've played 2 games since we've last had their show. Roma Juve 1-1 draw in Turin, in Torino, which I actually think I've long said on this show and in previous shows that Roma are incapable of winning in Turin, which is still true. However, I thought they played well. I thought they had a good showing of themselves. Dybala's assist to Tammy Abraham was an athletic feat from that corner. I think Roma should be pleased to walk away from that game with the draw. I thought the Vlahovic free kick was exceptional. And speaking of exceptional, that was like the Kieran Trippier free kick from last week. That was absolutely sick.
He did another one today too.
Yeah, and the thing is though, he did the first one against Roma in like the 2nd minute, and they never scored again, which was a shame.
I think Roma looks great. Really
and then
do.
Roma mopped up Monza today. Yeah, I think Roma's actually cruising, which is great to see. I think it's good for Serie A, which is why this is in the back. Even though Atalanta, my team, continues to cruise as well, I think Roma being quality is good for Serie A.
Well, Roma was your first love. Don't forget.
So Totti and De Rossi were my first love, rather than the city or the team. Those 2 players. And Dybala, honestly, thank God he's putting it together. I haven't figured out whether he's an elite player yet. We go back and forth all the time. I think he has incredible moments. You're right, Brian. But he's in a moment right now.
I don't mean to be a technical guy, but it really depends on what's the definition of world class or elite player.
He's right on the border. It's true.
Because to be a world class or elite player, you basically need to show consistently days in and days out, and also cannot be lucky with injuries. Because they are like, I don't want to knock on wood, but Ronaldo, I don't think he's got an ACL. Messi, neither. I mean, Zlatan got ACLs, but like he's a force of nature, and he came back at like 38, and another one again, and he's gonna come back at like 40.
We love that guy.
I know, and Dybala, those kind of player, they get injured a lot, and that's the kind of player that also kind of love life, the good food, and don't really like to hurt themselves too much at training. Verratti, smoking a little
not this season though. Knock on wood. He's got no World Cup to prep for. He's all in.
That's right.
Sure.
And also like there Fabian Ruiz and Carlos Soler to back him up and Vitinha.
But we'll get to PSG, don't worry.
We'll get to PSG, sorry. So Dybala, Dybala is what we call in French a goosebump player. So he's someone that gets you on the edge of your seat or even give a standing ovation. It gets you on your feet. I was being a bit sad at Juve, the last part of his run, because like the beginning of his run, it was like, he's the new Messi, even though it was because he was scoring a lot and he was dribbling and everything. And even though like there won't be a new Messi, unfortunately.
Well, also Messi didn't allow him to be the new Messi at Argentina.
That's right. He's a mobster.
Whoa, guys,
the leader of the mobster. He decides who can join Argentina. Oh, Aguero, I like him. I don't like him anymore. Put him on the bench. Thank you, because Aguero, when he come and he scored 2 goals, they almost like beat France. So thank you, Messi. Thank you.
What a shame. Yeah, no, I think Dybala is not whatever the highest level that we want to define is. He's not that for sure. But he's sweet. If he was that level, he would have never left Juventus. So, but I think it's perfect. I think, dare we say, maybe Jose Mourinho is kind of back.
I know.
Wow, that is a deep take.
I had buried him 6 feet under, but they look great. I mean, they just look good. I know that Juve is not what they were, for the better part of this last decade, but that's a game in Turin that they never ever get points from. So the draw there is nice, and they're just drumming all these other mediocre Serie A teams. So I like what I see. I like what I see a lot.
And Tammy Abraham is actually impressive as well. And Pellegrini is playing well. They've got the pieces. All of a sudden, it feels like
Spinazzola is back.
Spinazzola's back. Actually, he had a nice shot in the second half, which forced a great save out of the Monza keeper. We are a big Spina fan on this podcast, so I followed his exploits closely as well. So on that, I will also add in Serie A that Atalanta beat Hellas Verona 1-0 in a very drab affair, which I don't know how many of you out there watched that game, but I did. I watched all 90 minutes.
I don't think anyone listening to our show will have watched that game. That's a guess.
Yeah, but let me just break it down for you all. It was 1-0. It was extremely boring, but you know what? Atalanta, mentally tough. Cope Miners with a long-range effort seals the deal. 1-0. Get out of there. Get out of Verona with a dub, and Atalanta continues a hot start to the season, which is nice. So I'm happy about that. Juventus finally wins today, which is nice. I haven't decided whether I feel like Juventus is back this season or not. They look shaky again. The results have not been there yet. So
you know why they're so shaky? No, they don't have the talent. You know why?
They don't have the midfield.
You know who plays every game in the midfield for them?
Chris, who plays every game in the midfield for them?
For Atalanta?
No, for Juventus.
It's the great Antoine Rabiot.
Thank you. Every game, I see this guy. He's still trotting out there. So,
I know, like scoring goals are disallowed, unfortunately. But in all seriousness, I don't know if I'm biased or anything, but I don't understand why Weston is not playing more.
Yeah, I agree.
You're 3 of us are all aligned here. Put that guy in the game, coach.
Yeah, I mean, seriously. He's probably doing some crazy stuff in training, and Max Allegri is probably not liking that.
Like putting ranch on his pizza.
Or not drinking Italian coffee.
Yeah, I was gonna say exactly the same stuff. Or criticizing coffee. No, but like he does like stuff like step overs, and I don't think Max Allegri likes that.
The thing is, I also think it's early in the season. I expect McKinney to play down, as we get closer to the World Cup. I just do.
This is a bit of a problem for us though right now. All of our guys at these big clubs, except for Aronson, they're not playing. Pulisic is not playing. Reina is not playing. McKinney's not playing.
Reina's playing.
Is Reina back now finally?
He only plays home games, so there is one on Friday. So I mean, he doesn't. They are very, very careful with him. So he only plays 30 minutes. But like Olivier Giroud didn't play like. So Olivier Giroud, what did he did? he scored like one of the best goal of Champions Leagues ever with Chelsea against Atletico de Madrid. Check it out. It was amazing. And
Yes, I remember.
Coburn thought it was sweet. And after that, he played like 5 minutes in like 3 months, and he was killing it with France. So I'm not.
You're not worried?
And he was like 35, so he was old already. So
He's
those
kind of
are
a unique player, though. But I hear you. Are you
I'm not as worried. I'm not as worried yet. It's not technically September yet, although it'll be September in
Tomorrow.
a couple hours. I think I'll get worried in October.
No. As long as you play 30 minutes every game, and that's what's happening. Like for I don't know, did Weston like enter the game today? I didn't check that out. I think he might have stayed on the bench.
Don't know.
Then if they don't come to play, even like at least 20 minutes, then that's a problem. But don't worry, exactly. We are entering a period of time where there will be a game every 3 days.
He did not play.
We're entering a period of time when there will be games every 3 days. So there will be rotation, even for the coach that hates rotation and turnovers. So they will be forced, there will be injuries. So I'm not too worried. But that's the thing I'm worried about, is that the US men's national team squad, they've been very prone to injuries. And also one thing we saw quickly, I thought like, or we had the 9 problems, we had the number 9 problem, and now we have like a wealth of like, okay, so we don't know who to take now. And Ricardo Pepi thought he might have to move, and yeah, he's moving to the Eredivisie at FC Groningen, which I believe is where Arjen Robben started his career.
I think that Luis Suarez might have been there too.
Yes, true. That is true. And Eredivisie, they are very good at building the talent, even though, as we all know, the best league for that is Ligue 1, as its moniker is the League of Talents, and not the Farmer Leagues.
So let me so then we'll move on to actually, speaking of Ligue 1, we'll move on to PSG. My last comment here is I'm not worried yet about the men's national team players, but we are entering the danger zone for injuries. So once you get to the serious injury where you can't come back from in time, those are the ones I worry about. We're entering that period, so that's my little red flag for the teams.
Wow, Debbie Downer, dude.
I'm still riding the Italian lows. I'm still riding the Italian lows,
Yeah,
so I'm ready
take your witchcraft out of here.
I know.
We're
about to talk about so PSG. So Chris, here's what I gotta say. PSG against Monaco. Brian watched this game. I watched the highlights, so basically the same thing. I thought they should have won this game. I want your take though, and then we'll weigh in with ours.
So I'm wearing Paris Saint-Germain's jersey, the first, I believe, Air Jordan brand, very sweet, black and French flag reversed, so that's amazing. So Paris Saint-Germain against Monaco, so that was the first test of Paris Saint-Germain's season, where they were like rolling over TDs and conversion to the issue. It was not a 2-point conversion, it was only a 1-point conversion, but still they were rolling over everyone. The free front with Neymar, Messi, and Mbappe, even though Mbappe was injured for the first couple of games, were playing very sweetly. Neymar was even back to his level and transformed his level as an amazing assist maker, even if the king of assist maker is obviously Ousmane Dembele, but that's a different story. And so Monaco came to the Parc des Princes, and they had a game plan, which was taking care of Neymar and getting him frustrated. He got a yellow card for excess of engagement. And then Volland, he pushed Volland on the floor, and the referee was nice enough to not give him a second yellow, like after 30 minutes of play. So, and to not kill the game.
Very fortunate.
Yeah. And they had their new recruit, Moed Kamara from, no, it's not RB Salzburg, it's the other one, Listering, I believe, from a second division in the Austrian Bundesliga. And he basically bossed midfield around with Youssouf Fofana also. Hopeful from the French national team, should there be injuries from N'Golo Kanté and Pogba having extra sportive issue, but we'll talk about that later. And Verratti and Vitinha was suspended for 3 yellows in 3 consecutive games. That's typically the Verratti thing to do. Verratti has gotten 0 yellow cards so far.
I thought he's been playing. He's playing excellently to start the season.
Cannot believe that. And he's been tackling and everything, and he's like, every time he tackles, I'm scared that he's gonna like get, and he's like perfect on the ball. He doesn't even like touch the other player. He just gets the ball. It's been amazing to see, honestly. But Verratti was with Renato Sanchez, and just as a reminder on Renato Sanchez, that we knew like in 2016 when he was 17 or 18 at Bayern Munich, and he was kind of playing as a winger, if I remember, or like midfield right on a 4-4-2. And now he's been kind of like became a number 8, but like they are playing a 3-4-2-1, and then that means in the midfield you're 2, Verratti and +1, so Vitinha has been in this, and in Monaco it's been Renato Sanchez, and Renato Sanchez had a really poor game. He didn't know how to avoid the counter pressing. He didn't know how to escape it. He didn't know how to position himself. He had a really poor game, and so basically Verratti was on his own trying to do the turnstile, and Moed Kamara was just getting the balls every time, and they were getting the ball high, and then that's how Volland scored that sick goal, and Kimpembe didn't tackle him or too late, and he injured himself. They both injured themselves.
Also, Messi gets dispossessed there.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah,
true.
exactly.
Fuck, I was gonna say that. I was gonna bring that up.
Messi was really low on the pitch because like Verratti was struggling, and so he was like trying to help out, even though like it's difficult. So that's what happened. And then there was a bit hint of magics from the trio of the Neymar, Mbappe. So we thought Messi was gonna score this amazing goal, and then he hit the post, and hit the post really hard, and the ball came back in the feet of Mbappe. A lot of people say, "Oh, this is a sitter, this is a tap-in," and I'm like, the ball comes very fast.
Oh, do we have controversy, Brian? What do you think?
Whoa. If you want to be the best player in the world, that's gotta find the back of the net. That's what I have to say.
So Mbappe has not been at his top level. He's
You know what, Chris? I love that. I love that for you, and I love that that's your background. But he's got to make that. That's all I have to say. He's a professional. He's a professional footballer, and the goal is right there. I could do what he did. He gets paid to not do that. I think the Messi shot was wonderful. He's got to finish that. My big thing on PSG is that I'm not fooled. I'm not fooled by this performance. I'm not fooled by the performances before. I know who they are, and I want to see them in the Champions League. I'm uninterested in what they do in Liga, other than very enjoyable highlights, which I absolutely eat up every week because they usually put these teams to sword. That's great. But Brian, Monaco deserves some credit.
Yeah, I thought that they, for how kind of lousy they've been outside of this one game in Ligue 1. I mean, I know that, on paper they've got, potentially the second strongest or third strongest team in France.
Correct.
So I was excited to watch the game. It would be nice to see PSG get some domestic competition under their belts as they've been trouncing these weaker clubs. But I think it was a good test for PSG in terms of what level of athleticism that they'll face in the Champions League. Monaco was on them, and it was the first like 8 minutes, especially when they were pressing them deep. PSG couldn't get out of their own half at all. They kept passing it around. They didn't seem like they had either the wherewithal or the energy to make all the runs to break the press, and they were on them pretty hard. And I was impressed with how Monaco came out. I thought they deserved to have the lead. PSG eventually kind of, as the game went on, were able to impose a little bit more. It's hard to play that, aggressive defensive high press for an entire game. But they did it for a pretty long stretch, and it clearly bothered them. So I think it was a good lesson for PSG that, when they go up against some teams that are going to be, aggressive and athletic like Monaco were, they could struggle because, sometimes like you get these teams too, it's a lot easier to play on the counter than it is to play with the ball.
Exactly.
And so when Monaco was going forward too, they were giving them, big problems. I think Ben Yedder missed a pretty decent chance on an awesome play. I think it was Fofana. It was either Fofana or Kamara in the midfield turned somebody on PSG bad and then slid in Ben Yedder. That was a chance that could have been finished. But yeah, to be honest, Chris, I think as a fellow PSG supporter with you, it's disappointing result. I don't think there's any way to get around that. I think that's a game that they should have won anyway, but they didn't. They didn't find a way to win. I think that the Marquinhos, Kimpembe, Ramos is just not tough enough as a center back trio. And we talk about the midfield all the time. It's just Verratti, and he's got no help. So I'll leave it with some positives. I thought Messi was pretty good. He got dispossessed a few times, dispossessed in the goal. That was unfortunate. But that's as good of a playmaking Messi as I've seen for PSG maybe ever. I thought he was amazing with a lot of just the vintage dribbling and wriggling out of space. He's the ultimate pressure reliever. Maybe he should have played center mid next to Verratti. But yeah, I don't know. Disappointing, I think. But we'll see how PSG keeps chugging along.
Yeah, because like he was at home. It was not even at Stade Louis II in Monaco. And the coach, Christophe Galtier, came out and said, like, my team seems surprised and they shouldn't have been surprised. We trained about this, and they seemed surprised about the level of engagement and aggressivity they came out with in first half. And also one thing to mention is their goalkeeper, Nubel, which was came out with the moniker of the next Neuer. Sorry. He's been poor. Like, they've been called him like the ghost. He's not been saving anything in any games in prelim of Champions League. Anything. He's been a ghost. And in this game, he makes 2 huge saves. One on Mbappe that's just go full force and he ends up being saved by his torso, and one on Messi that's like should have been in the back of the net. So that's also, and also their defense that has been pretty shaky. The Maripan, Alex Disasi, and Badiashile, they've done their best game. They played like it was a Champions League game, and Paris Saint-Germain played it was like a good game in Ligue 1, but it was like, okay, we're playing in Juve in just next Tuesday. Just hopefully there won't be any free kicks in the 20 to 25 yards out from Paris Saint-Germain's goal.
Oh, seriously. Speaking of Champions League, Chris, when I'm in Glasgow or I'm in Edinburgh, neither Celtic or Rangers is in town. Can you believe that? Got totally screwed.
Can't even imagine it.
Unbelievable. They both play on the road that Tuesday, Wednesday. I'm there.
Are you sure? I thought Celtic was playing.
I'm there. You had a different week. I'm there the first week of October. So October 4th and 5th.
Yeah.
I can't believe
can't get a break.
I can't get a break on the trip.
Well, yeah, you
I'm going. So
yeah, well, you can.
You might have to go to Liverpool a little bit further.
I know. I'd look. It's a little too far.
Prayers up for Brian tomorrow at his MRI exam. But last element of the show here. So all of you have seen, or I at least hope all of you have seen, the Paul Pogba drama that has been unfolding in the press over the last couple days. We wanted to dedicate a few minutes with Chris, our resident French L'Equipe whisperer, to break this down a little bit. For those of you who haven't really caught up with the story, it continues to unfold. It's sort of a developing gossip and rumor mill, but there's some extortion involving his family. There was, armed robbery and, demanding of $13 million payments. His brother is at the center of this. It continues to happen today. So I guess, Chris, I just want to ask your opinion. What happens next? What happens next in this story? And what are you thinking for the future of Paul's, family and professional career?
Yeah, so in terms of a bit of context, is Paul Pogba is one of the most gifted midfield, I would say, of all time. He's athletic and also is able to do any kind of tricks. He has 5 stars, I believe, in FIFA.
By the way, yeah, Paul, if you're listening, you're on my Foot Champions team. So I just want you to know we are here for you, my friend.
So Paul Pogba also comes not only with his artistry on the pitch, but it's also off the pitch, and was known as a family guy. He has 2 other brothers that also played professionally or semi-professionally. And this story that seems like something that should have been kept private and be resolved in the family circle. Unfortunately, came out in public as Matthias Pogba, who's the elder brother that I believe played at 3rd or 4th tier level in France. Came out with social media posts and videos saying that there would be things that his brother said about him that are untrue, and that he will talk about things that he knows, and he has video that proves that Paul Pogba has ordered from his witch doctor a spell to be cast on Mbappe to either not play well or get injured. Today, Paul Pogba went to the police to file a claim that he mentioned, to add to the claim that he has a family witch doctor, which he has to cast a spell
Unbelievable.
on himself to not.
This is my favorite part of the story by far.
To not
Give me
get
the witch
injured.
doctor.
And as we speak, Pogba is suffering and recovering from a tough injury that might be difficult for him to recover before the World Cup. So what's next, Corbin? Sorry, I just came to your question now. So what's next? It comes out to the national team, right? So Paul Pogba, despite his brand image, is actually a leader in the locker room. There was the French version of All or Nothing, which actually came out before the franchise All or Nothing. It came out in 1998, Les Yeux dans les Bleus. And there was that kind of documentary for the World Cup in.
Here we go.
Dude, this is way before your time, Coleman. Just let this happen.
Yeah, it was in 2006, so we're out.
And to my surprise, the captain is Lloris, but the one that does the speech at halftime or before the game is Paul Pogba. And Paul Pogba did a remix of the Claude Makelele one, which is pretty ballsy about I don't care who I'm playing. I don't care if it's Messi, Ronaldo. I just eat them off. So he did something like that, but a bit nicer. It's like, I don't care if it's Messi. I'm not going home. We're winning. We're beating them. and like really field move. And after the game, like coming up with the songs, like making up songs for the players after the game. And he's also, generationally speaking, he's about to hit like 30, and he's a good intermediary between the older ones, the Lloris, Varane, and the younger generation, the Mbappe, the Tchouaméni, because he understands the younger generation, right? And has projects to be an actor after do commercials after the end of his footballing professional career. So what comes next is justice. We'll get to the bottom of this, as basically Pogba is claiming that there were tentative of extortion of his wealth back in March during a French national team camp. He was held at gunpoint, and we're not talking about handgun, we're talking about assault weapons. And he's claiming one of the three assailants, the three people that were holding guns, he's claiming he recognized his brother Matthias, who's the one that came out with those videos. And so Matthias is basically has came forward by saying he's lying, and that Paul left him alone and he could have died, but without proving anything. And like each day he says he has videos that proves himself and that he'll come out with the truth. So I mean, this is a bit sad, first of all, obviously, but in terms of consequences, Didier Deschamps is already talking about options to decide, because he doesn't want to have to go to press conference about like talking about those kind of things about justice affairs. And in the past, when this has happened, that's why he's put Benzema off the team and Valbuena off the team when there was the sex tape gate issue. So even though at the moment it seems like, or it sounds like Paul Pogba is actually the victim of this extortion scheme, justice will get to the bottom of this to figure this out. But this is when you're happy to be France and have a little bit of death, because Kanté is getting injured a lot, and not the Kanté we've known, and Pogba is injured a lot, and he's part of those kind of stories. Juninho has mentioned those kind of stories. Unfortunately, in Brazil, is fairly common. It's about the entourage, and being true to your roots, and as you're making money to help other people that you've known in your entourage so that they can also live decently. But as we've seen our society becoming more violent, now it's getting to that degree, and it's a bit sad.
Are witch doctors a thing in France, or is this like a different cultural thing? It's like a Muslim thing?
It's part of the African culture. I believe Mali, Senegal, Côte d'Ivoire, but I'm not sure 100%. I believe it's sub-Saharan Africa that is part of the culture. Pogba's family come from a sub-Saharan country. They are born in France, but I believe the mother and the father are born in Guinea, I believe, in Conakry. I'm not sure 100% from what I remember on top of my head. And that's part of the culture in sub-Saharan countries.
Chris, tell them to send that witch doctor over to my left hand and have them fix it. That'd be great. Thanks.
Yeah, I just heard you're having an MRI. I'm sorry, I didn't know. And me, I was complaining because I was fighting with my oven, and it sounds like the oven was hitting me a little bit, and so it will just disappear. And it sounds. I hope you have nothing broken and no ligament damages.
No, it's too late for that, Chris. I already had the MRI. I have a torn ligament. sucks. But tomorrow they're gonna tell me that I need surgery, I bet. But I just don't know that.
Has it been hurting?
Yes, quite a bit.
I would not. I'll just put it this way: I would not start Brian in your fantasy leagues for the next couple months for sure.
No, I'm on the shelf with Pogba too. I'm taking it easy to the World Cup.
Well, I hope that Pogba is I hope that Pogba and his family situation resolves. We wish the best for him, and we wish the best for the French team. That seems messy. I'll just say, no pun intended. That seems Lionel messy because
Pun completely intended, huh?
yeah. So I don't have anything to add other than the story is wild. And we'll see what happens. I know you mentioned that his mother was getting interviewed by the police today. So there's a lot to unpack there. But thanks for the rundown, gents. I'm gonna quickly preview next week's games. We have a ton of did you have something else that you wanted to add, Brian?
No, I'm just waiting for you to bring up the big Serie A match of the weekend.
Oh, there's a huge Serie A weekend upcoming on Saturday, specifically starting with Juventus Fiorentina. I love this game because Fiorentina always gets up for it and they never beat Juventus,
and they
which
get
is another game. Yeah, they always get crushed. So that's number one. Number two is what you're referring to, is the Derby della Madonnina, which is Inter AC Milan. By the way, AC Milan, we have not touched on this show. They have not been good to start the season.
True.
And yes, so they're playing on Saturday, and then the actual nightcap is Lazio Napoli. So a great Serie A slate on Saturday. I would also add in the Premier League that we have Man United Arsenal this Sunday, as well as the Merseyside derby, which would be a nice Everton Liverpool matchup on Saturday. So I'm looking forward to those games.
Yeah, that's at 4:30. Won't be waking up for that.
I won't be waking up for that either. But and gentlemen, any final thoughts?
No, what Chris saw on Twitter today?
Not today. We will catalog some of the newest.
We did kind of talk about what Chris saw on Twitter with the jersey unveiling.
I know. We folded that into the show.
Dude, I only have one thing for you, Colburn, and you need to watch the Milan Sassuolo highlights.
Oh, really?
Yeah, only for your favorite player, Berardi.
I'll watch that.
He gets his penalty saved by Mignon, and then he gets hurt and limps off the field later.
It's okay. I'll be able to see him in person.
I felt a bit bad. I was like, look at this loser. But then I kind of didn't. It was funny.
I will see him in the United States during the 6th Serie A tournament in November. So
wait, is that actually on?
No, the Italians will wait until October. No, they're
going to still.
This is the way the Italians do business. I won't
like,
hear.
Hey guys, the games are next week.
Yeah, basically, it's gonna be like, actually, this is happening, and this is gonna be starting in a week. So the Italians took all of August off on vacation. I expect to hear an update this month. If it is happening.
That's hilarious. Is the MLS pausing this time for the World Cup?
I would hope so. Probably not.
I mean, they will be done before the World Cup, so they're like.
Oh, that's true.
Usually they do like they finish in December, right? So now they just pack everything. So like they're basically like starting. I believe the last regular season game is on October 9th or 10th, and just a week afterwards is starting to be playoff. And it will be done like a week before, just like everyone else, so that basically they have the same run up to the World Cup as in Europe.
Nice.
It'll be good for Gareth Bale.
The Earthquakes beat Gareth Bale in LAFC, by the way. I should have told you guys that.
That wasn't it wasn't on our agenda to discuss.
That wasn't on the agenda. Yeah, I didn't watch the highlights either.
The Ricky Puig actually had his first goal for the LA Galaxy tonight. Was actually
Pooch.
Yeah, whatever. He scored a nice one for the Galaxy.
Yasiel Puig scored tonight. Nice.
I watched that game too, obviously, shamelessly, but he was driving the ball, and he put that Super 90 was probably one of the best goals I've seen in MLS. That was like truly show the talent of a player, not like something that feels like a slow play.
I like Pooch. Always did. It's a shame. He's just, yeah. He's gone.
All right.
MLS.
With that, gentlemen, we'll wrap for today. Thank you all for joining us. This is the SuperSub Podcast. Who's had a long day today?
I've had a long day today.
It's Brian.
True.
It's
True.
Brian. That's hilarious. That's great. That's great.
It's true. It's true.
That's great. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, thanks for joining us. We'll be back next week. Actually, there's a ton of games to talk about next weekend. I have to mute.
Hey, dude, get it together.
I have to mute Brian. This will go on. This will go on during the wrap party outtakes at the end of the season. Well, please like, subscribe. We're on YouTube.
This will make to the bloopers reel.
Yeah. So look, I gotta get through this. We're sponsored by BF Goodrich Tires. I want to thank Allstate. Oh man, I gotta get through this read. So we're on Instagram. We're on Instagram, TikTok.
I can't believe you, dude. Oh, dude, Instagram, TikTok,
YouTube. The full show is on YouTube every week. So thank you everyone for joining us on the SuperSub Podcast. We'll see you all next week. Ciao, everyone.
Ciao. A bientôt.
Dude, what did I do?